Verl Workman here, and welcome to Wayne's Words. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to Workman Wisdom, our weekly video blog. And today I'm going to share with you a little bit more about how we focus and build operational excellence in our businesses and in our teams. You know, one of the questions that I get asked all the time from team leaders or from individual high-producing agents is, you know, what do I do next? What's next for me? I got a call yesterday on a webinar where the question came in, what's the best lead generation if I want to start a team? And it made me think about it, because the way I want to answer that is I could say, well, you should use Boomtown, or you should use Commissions Inc., or you should use one of our Zillow, one of our high volume lead generators. But I thought, wait a minute, if I answer that question without knowing more about the business, I'm not serving the client. And so what I thought is, how do we teach people to ask the right question? And how do we get them to focus and to prioritize? One of the big challenges we have as coaches is getting people to think differently about the way they approach their business. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about how we approach things. First of all, you have to become a master at prioritization. If I ask 100 agents what their biggest challenge is in business, I'm going to tell you that 97 of them are going to say, well, I don't have enough time. There's not enough hours in the day. Time management. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You can't manage time. You can't speed up or slow down the passage of time. Everybody has the same amount of hours in a day, and we spend most of it sleeping. So what are you doing with this finite resource you call time? What you have to realize as the CEO of your business is that you're not in the business of time management. You're in the business of me management. It's deciding what your highest priorities are and then focusing on them. So let me give you a couple of ideas or a couple of thought processes that we use in coaching our agents to think more strategically about their business. First of all, when you ask the question, what do I do next? I'm going to teach you how to prioritize. And I'm going to give you just three basic categories to prioritize in. And I'm going to show you in a little more detail how we do that. So the first thing you have to do is I'm going to tell you that MMA is number one. That stands for money-making activities. If it's a money-making activity, if it's transaction related, so if you've got a transaction and you're dealing with inspections, you've got to deal with that. That takes a higher priority over setting up your new website. And so it's really easy to identify highest priority activities because they're usually directly related to either managing clients or getting clients. Under the priority of money-making activities, I'm going to say that most people don't put this here, but it belongs here. Better make sure I spell that right, but prospecting. We spend so much of our time getting distracted by noisy objects and shiny things that we don't focus on the things that actually generate revenue. So money-making activities, which include transactional tasks, and then prospecting is a number one priority in my book. And so I always do those first. I've learned that if you sit down in the morning and you spend an hour just planning your day, and you make sure you schedule in time for your money-making activity, transactional things, and then prospecting, you always have a productive day. We developed the 61 points of rhythm to make sure that you get your 61 points every day, so every day you focus on prospecting. Priority number two. So let me give you number two. This is real simple. Priority number two is based on understanding that things have dates associated with it. So I'm going to call this one dates. If something has a date associated with it. So oftentimes our marketing, we know that I want to send out a monthly mailer, so I want to send out geographic farming every month. That has a date associated with it. I know that I have to have my copy to the printer by a certain date. I need to have my every door direct addresses all compiled and the zip codes I'm going to send by a certain date, and I know it needs to be shipped by a certain date in order for my clients to get it. Anything associated with dates becomes a priority two. If it's transactional, it's a priority one. So if there are dates related to a transaction, that's a what? Priority one. If it's dates related to marketing or events, then that becomes a number two. The other thing I like to do is I'd like to be working 6 months to a year in advance. So I want you to think about that. So here it is March, and you should be thinking right now, what has to be going on in my business in August, September, and October? And then today in March, you focused on making sure everything's ready. So August, September, and October, you're not doing crisis marketing or crisis management. You should always be 90 days to 6 months out in everything that you're doing, especially when it relates to dates. So what are some of the things you might put into the date category in prioritization? You might want to do a client appreciation event, your geographic farming like we talked about. You may want to do a monthly blog or a newsletter. You have to think strategically in advance, make a list of those activities, and do and focus on date-related activities first. And it's really easy to prioritize these because you start with the furthest away date and move closer with all the things that need to be done, and whatever's next is your next priority. Simple. The last one, and we'll call this one number 3, is where we focus on projects. Now, I'm going to just write projects here. Projects. Projects are the things in your business that require your undivided attention to get done. A project might be, setting up your CRM, building your contact manager. A project might be setting up a training system for all your new buyers agents. A project might be directly related to building a new website, setting up your boomtown. Projects are incredible, and there's a lot of important things. I'll tell you when projects usually come up is when you go to a show or a convention. So here we're just coming in out of the middle of convention season where everyone's going to their national conventions, and you've been going to your brand conventions, and you're getting together and you're looking at the whole year. Well, it seems like whatever speaker you're in front of has a new idea or a new project or a new system that you should be implementing or trying. It's real simple to prioritize those. So I first ask the question, is it money making? Is it money making? Is there dates related to it? And then is it the most important project? So then I'll go through and I'll put them in one of these 3 categories. Money making activities related to transactions. Is it something affiliated with a date? Or is it a project? And then I put those projects in order based on the importance. Now that brings up to this next process that we developed. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit about that. So now you've got a clear understanding of prioritization, a 1, 2, and a 3. Now let me show you how we take all of the ideas that you have and put them into a simple project management system. There's all kinds of technology that's been developed over the years. I had a business partner one time who was deep in the technology world. And in the technology world, he found that the technology people that write code, they have this process called Agile project management. Agile is what it sounds like. It's fluid, it's mobile, it changes. And Agile is very complicated. You can actually Google Agile project management. There's tons of books written on it. And someone who's a real expert in running the Agile process is called a Scrum Master. So you can get certified as a Scrum Master so you can run this Agile process. Now we've created Agile for real estate, where we've basically taken a dumbed down version of Agile project management and we've put it together for small business owners or entrepreneurs. We happen to be in real estate, but it really doesn't matter what business you're in. So I want to talk to you for just a minute about Agile. The first thing that happens in Agile is we create what's called a project backlog. Now I'm going to show you a simple version here, but on the screen behind you, I'm going to put a link where you can actually watch a video where we'll take you through the Agile process on a training video that's part of our AMP program, and you can see that for free. You can actually look at how we actually build Agile in Google Drive. But the Agile starts with a project backlog. So I'm going to put project there. This is where you make a list of all your projects. So you have to do your CRM. We have to get a buyer's agent hired. We have to do our geographic farm. So I make a list of all of the ideas, all the things that I want to work on this year. I make a big project backlog. And then I define the project. I want to make it really clear so everybody knows what that project means. I'm not just going to buy a CRM, but I'm going to have a CRM up and working functionally, and I'm able to contact all of my past clients. I want to be able to manage my day-to-day business. I've got to do all those things, okay? So we first do the project, then we define the project, and then we give it a who. Who's going to be done and when is it going to be done by? Now this is all done in a spreadsheet in a little more detail. I'm just giving you the broad brush strokes. In this first column right here, I give it a number of importance. So that number of importance looks like this. I take the project CRM. Is getting my CRM working and functioning more important than hiring a buyer's agent? I'm going to start by just giving it a number. So I'm going to give this a number of 600. So I'm going to say the number of 600 for my CRM is, 600. Hiring buyer's agents, because I got so many leads, we can't even keep up with them all, I'm losing money. So I believe that I'm losing money, so I'm going to hire a buyer's agent. I think that's a higher priority. I'm going to give it a number of 700. Now, sending out my geographic farm and building my strategy for my geographic farm, I already have more leads than I can handle. That's why hiring a buyer agent is so high. I don't have my CRM effectively set up, so I can't manage the clients. So does geographic farm go higher or lower than CRM? I'm going to say that it goes lower because I can't really do my marketing unless I have my farm set up. So I'm going to give that a number of a 500. I go through each project on my list, and I could have 50 projects. And then I go through each one of them, give it a number, and then in this column on my Google Drive spreadsheet, I'll hit sort, highest to lowest. It then puts them in order, and I know that hiring a buyer's agent is first. Thinking strategically about what's next and having this agile process in your business allows you as a CEO of your business to make smart decisions. When you go to a seminar or you get a sales call from someone that says you really need to do this, or I really think you should get this, or do you want to buy this? You look at your project backlog, you ask yourself, is it a higher priority than ones you currently have there? And then you make a decision based on what you've already said is your highest priorities. If it's a lower than 500, then you just put a 400 on it, you put it on your project backlog, and when it becomes the next project, that's when you focus on it. You see, thinking strategically isn't accidental. It's something that happens when you decide to intentionally create the business that you want. So let's stop being accidental in the way we do things in our business, create operational excellence, use a prioritization strategy like the one I laid out today. Number one, is it related to money? Is it a money-making activity? It's a higher priority. Number two, does it have a date related to it from a marketing perspective? And number three, is it project-based? Then go through, build your agile process, and enjoy having clarity on what's really going on in your business. Operational excellence absolutely matters. Thanks for tuning in.